Hi, this is Eric with Irrigation Checkups and wanted to provide a quick overview of some new functionality and changes that are now available starting June 18th, 2025. And these changes, I think, will make a lot of users' lives a little easier and provide some more value. And so let's jump in here. This is screen share of a manager level parent user. And so this is the dashboard they see with metrics. And so if we go to our Incomplete Checkup page, this is where we will see some of the changes being made in this version of the app. And so first you'll see right in the middle, we have a new due date field available for the checkups. And so this will be color coded based on whether the due date is passed or not. So it'll be red if it's overdue. And whenever you create a new checkup, you'll be able to set this. And so if you are a manager level or a team member user that has created the checkup, you can set this date. But if a manager or user sets it and then assigns it to another team member, that team member cannot change the date. And so if you have somebody in the office using the manager level login, creating the checkups that are due, say, at the end of the week or the end of the month, they can create the list of various checkups, set the due date, and then assign them to the appropriate team member user. And so all you have to do is click into it and set the date, and it automatically updates the record. And so in order to accommodate this new field in the table, we had to remove some data. There's a lot of information we're trying to display here. And so we removed the address of the site that the checkup is assigned to. But no fear, at the end of the client site column here, there's an information icon, which will open up a pop-up giving you that site information. And if you had used the Google autocomplete address entry when setting up the site, it captured the GPS coordinate of that location. So it'll show you a map if that's available, along with the site address, the site contact information if you entered that, and then any notes for that site. And so that information is still available, just not in the table. Also part of the due date functionality, you can now sort by due date. And so if you want to see what is overdue, you can do that. It by default will sort by the created date. You can still sort by the client. And of course, you still have the filters at the top available. And so that's a big change. And then also you'll see that the icons for editing the checkup and deleting one if need be has also been changed to icons instead of buttons, again, just to provide a little more space in this table that has a lot of information in it. And so the next big change is these assignment. And so if we click into assigning, I need to refresh this. If we click into the assignment, we now have the original assigning. So, I created this and I can assign it to one of my two team member users. But if I want to keep the assignment, it'll still be my name being shown on the report, but I want to give my team members the ability to also see this checkup in their list when they log in and help me perform the inspection, the checkup. I can add them, can add one or more onto this access list, and then I can assign this. And so John Smith now has access to this checkup. It'll be available in his list when he signs in. And so let me see if I can switch over. And so here is a representation of an iPad for that John Smith user. And so if I refresh this, that checkup that is still assigned to Eric is now in here. I can use the option to go edit it, so I can go to this checkup and actually start entering in information, but I cannot delete it because it's not mine. Uh, and so any of the checkups that John Smith has created, he can still assign it to somebody else. It'll give you a warning that John Smith's going to lose access to this because he's assigning it to somebody else. So if I assigned it to Eric, Eric would then have to go in and give access to John. So we don't want to do that. Maybe we want to give access to the other team member user. And so the team members can do that if they are the assigned user on this checkup. And so and then you'll also see that if they are not assigned to the checkup, I'm clicking into the due date. That due date cannot be edited by somebody that's been given access but is not assigned. So some permission complexity there, but it'll just prevent any issues going forward. So other big change, if we go to this Georgetown Soccer Association, we go into this checkup. So this checkup we'll see has the site for Georgetown Soccer Association has 2 backflow units and 4 controllers, one that has 80 zones. And so you'll see the select unit um, um, information above each of these. And if we keep scrolling down, you may notice that there is a bunch of the sections of the main checkup missing. And that is because if you are on a site that has multiple backflows or multiple controllers, you actually have to select the backflow to see if there are any repairs. So if we click into the other one, there's been no repairs added to that one yet. And then the same thing with controllers. If we click this first one, we see that it has 8 zones, and so there was already a controller repair set up. Here's the programs for it. Here are the zone descriptions, and then those zone repairs, and then there's that information in the quote. So this was a checkup that was already started. But if I then move on to the 80 zone controller number 2, you can see that no programs have been entered yet. The zone descriptions are there. We have our pagination, so we don't have a huge list of zones clogging up the screen. If you click all, you can see all of them. But you do see the zone repairs for controller 2, and then also the quote line items for them. And so uh, I'm been quite surprised at the number of just huge sites that have been loaded into the system by users, some with 20 plus controllers, a lot of zones, huge developments. And so when you have that many backflows and controllers and zones, the load time, you see a lot of spinning blue circles. And so this is a way to avoid that. Less information is having to be rendered by your browser. And so if you unclick or unselect, it'll make everything nice and condensed again. And then on quotes, if you are using quote line items, there's a new show all checkbox. So if you don't want to see the actual details of these, but you do want to see all of the quote items related to all the information. So, you can see we have the system line items, the backflow repair, controller 1, controller 2, zone repairs. So all that information is available with this show all, where you can uncheck it and it'll go just show you the system information. And then another new feature is the show breakdown checkbox. So if you are using detail quotes, you have the option now to see it's only within the app. It's not on the actual quote document. But within the app, if you're using this to transfer into a different accounting system or billing system, sometimes it's useful to see, okay, how is the labor and material broken down, subtotal for that, and then the tax, and then the actual quote total. And so that's a new function that's available. In order to calculate how much of, if I go ahead and show all of the items. This is a little easy because the item name is actually labor, but it's actually based on the category of the product in your product list, as long as it has the word labor in it. So it could be, labor dash tech, labor dash helper. It will grab all of those items, all those categories that have the word labor in it. And so that will be helpful to a lot of folks. And then last but not least, if we go into the client accounts and then drill down into one of the details of a site. So we have a controller here with 4 zones, pretty simple, but we now have this new icon here to download a CSV um, of the zone description. So you'll get a nice CSV file with the zone number, description, landscape type, irrigation type, and if you have entered flow, the flow for each zone. And so if you need to use that information, in Excel with some, similar app, that is now available also. So hopefully all of these new changes will be helpful to your business. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I'll be updating the documentation regarding all of this shortly. So enjoy.